Tonight, if you sat down to dinner in Paris, Bangkok, or New Orleans, you might eat a frog. Millions of people do it every single day. Crispy legs, garlic butter, a delicacy on 5 continents. But if you tried to serve a toad on that same plate, people would recoil. Some would call it dangerous. Some would call it insane. And here's the strange part. Most of us can't actually explain why. We just know. Somewhere deep in your brain, without ever being taught, you already sorted these 2 animals into different boxes. One is food, one is poison. But that split isn't as clean as you think. Some frogs can kill you in minutes. Some toads have been eaten for centuries. So what is your brain actually reacting to? Stay till the end. Because the real answer isn't about frogs or toads. It's about a warning system hiding inside your own head. One you've been using your whole life without knowing it existed. Let's start with the obvious assumption. Most people think frogs are smooth and safe. Toads are bumpy and dangerous. Simple, right? But that's not quite the full picture. Frogs and toads aren't even separate scientific groups. Toads are just a type of frog, one that evolved dry, warty skin. And that wart-covered skin isn't random, it's armor. Behind a toad's eyes sit 2 raised lumps. Scientists call them parotoid glands. Squeeze one, even by accident, and it releases a milky toxin. That toxin is called bufotoxin. It's named after the toad genus Bufo. A predator that bites down on a toad gets a mouthful of chemical warfare. Dogs have died from mouthing a single cane toad. Some toad species carry enough bufotoxin to stop a human heart. So the wart isn't ugly by accident. It's a billboard. It's your body reading danger before your brain even finishes the thought. But here's what's fascinating. Frogs are supposed to be the safe ones. Yet some frogs are the deadliest animals on Earth. Deep in the rainforests of Colombia lives a frog barely the size of a paperclip, bright yellow, almost glowing. It's called the golden poison frog. Its skin produces a toxin called batrachotoxin. One frog carries enough poison to kill 10 grown men. Indigenous hunters in the region have used it for generations. They'd rub the tips of blow darts against the frog's back. One graze from that dart could drop a bird out of the sky, or stop a jaguar mid-stride. And yet, this deadly creature isn't a toad. It's classified as a frog. So the whole frog's good, toad's bad rule you grew up trusting, it just broke. Right in front of you. So what's actually going on? Here's the twist. It was never about the species label. It's about the skin. Slimy, moist skin usually means low toxin, or none at all. That's most frogs you'd find near a pond. Dry, bumpy, warty skin usually means glands packed with chemical defense. That's most toads. But evolution doesn't respect our neat categories. Some frogs evolved the same defenses toads did. Poison dart frogs are proof. They just kept the smooth appearance while stealing the deadly biochemistry. Which means your brain's simple rule, smooth is safe, bumpy is dangerous, is really just a shortcut. A rough guess your ancestors made, long before laboratories existed to check it. And that guess had consequences. In 1935, Australian farmers had a pest problem. Beetles were destroying sugarcane crops. Someone had an idea. Import a toad from South America that eats beetles. They brought in just over 100 cone toads, released them into the wild. The beetles barely noticed, but the toads did something else. They multiplied. Today, there are an estimated 200 million cane toads spread across Australia. Every one of them carries bufotoxin in those parotoid glands. Native predators, quolls, snakes, goannas, evolved to hunt frogs, not chemically armed invaders. They bit down expecting dinner. Instead, they got a lethal dose. Entire populations of native predators collapsed in the areas cane toads spread through. One human decision, one toad species, an ecosystem thrown into chaos. because nobody respected the warning sitting right there on the animal's skin. But that's only half the story, because humans haven't always avoided toads either. In parts of southern China, a specific species has been eaten for generations, but only after an extremely precise process. The skin is removed entirely. The parotoid glands are cut away first, with surgical care. Miss a single gland, or let toxin touch the meat, and the result isn't a stomachache, it's cardiac arrest. Hospitals in Guangdong and Guangxi provinces still report toad poisoning cases almost every year, usually from home cooks who trusted their own hands a little too much. So even in the one place where toad is treated as food, it's treated like handling a small, warty explosive. That's not primal disgust. That's inherited knowledge, passed down like a recipe for survival. So what killed the idea of eating toads almost everywhere else? It wasn't taste, it wasn't texture, it was risk math. Frogs, for most species, offered protein with almost no danger. Toads offered protein wrapped around a coin flip with death. Across thousands of years and thousands of cultures that never spoke to each other, humans landed on the same conclusion, independently. Eat the frog, leave the toad. That's not a coincidence. That's convergent behavior. The same survival pressure, solving the same problem over and over on different continents. And here's where it gets personal, because you do this too, every single day. Not with frogs and toads, with everything. Val Curtis, a researcher who studies the psychology of disgust, spent years mapping what makes humans recoil. Rotting food, bodily fluids, skin lesions, unusual textures. Her research found something remarkable. Disgust isn't random squeamishness. It's a disease avoidance system, hardwired by evolution, running in the background of your mind at all times. You don't consciously decide something looks off. Your brain flags it before you can even explain why. That warty, bumpy skin on a toad, it triggers the exact same ancient alarm that makes you flinch from spoiled milk or pull your hand back from something slimy and wrong. You were never taught to fear a toad's skin. You inherited the fear from every ancestor who touched the wrong thing and didn't survive to pass on a different lesson. Think about how fast that reaction happens. Faster than language, faster than logic. You see the bumps and something in you says no, before your conscious mind has even loaded the word toxin. That's not weakness. That's not superstition. That's millions of years of natural selection, compressed into a half-second gut reaction. The people who ignored that instinct, who reached for the wrong warty creature, who ate the wrong berry, who touched the wrong skin, they didn't get to raise children. The ones who trusted the flinch did. So every time your skin crawls at something bumpy, wet, or strangely colored, you're not being irrational. You're hearing a message relayed to you across an unbroken chain of survivors, stretching back further than written history. And it's not just about frogs and toads. It's about every snap judgment you make all day without noticing. The stranger whose smile feels wrong. The food that smells almost fine, but not quite. The path through the woods that feels like the wrong one to take. You call it a gut feeling. Scientists call it evolved heuristics. But it's the same system. The one that separated frog from toad on every dinner table on Earth for thousands of years, without a single lab test. So the next time something makes your skin crawl for no clear reason, don't brush it off so fast. That reaction isn't your imagination working overtime. It's not irrational fear. It's an ancient survival algorithm, refined by every ancestor who lived long enough to have you. Every wart your eyes have ever flinched from. Every warning your body gave before your mind caught up. That's not a flaw in how you think. That might be the oldest, most tested wisdom you own. And most of us never even knew it was still running.